Hi, this is Shiv Patel, and this is Crash Course Cronin Style. Today, I'm going to talk about a date which still lives in infamy. December 7th, 1941. Pearl Harbor. But first, let me tell you how this all happened. Adrian, roll intro. Despite the Neutrality Acts of 1935, 7, and 9, Franklin Delano Roosevelt decided to declare war against Japan. He decided to rally the troops with him to take down Japan, but in the process, we had a declaration of war from Germany. This was not a good idea on my behalf. This declaration made even Captain Barbossa feel bad. He said, "I feel cold." Then again, we declared war against them. Germany declared war against us. There was a lot of declaring of war, okay? Let's just continue with Pearl Harbor. So what exactly happened at Pearl Harbor, you may ask? Let's go back to the beginning. World War I, also known as the Great War, had casualties over 37 million worldwide. This was, at the point, known as the largest war in history. This is why we return to pro-isolationism, and followed by Henry Cabot Lodge's defense against the League of Legends.
League of Nations. It's League of Nations. The League of Nations. The League of Legends is something else. It's a video game. Honestly, did we even pay you for that line? Did we even pay you to come here? Did we even pay you to work?
You don't pay me anything.
Listen, you little... Hi, sorry about that. And where were we? Oh yeah, we were in isolationism. Anyway, so to keep this neutrality and isolationism, the United States enacted the Neutrality Act of 1935, establishing a mandatory arms embargo. Otherwise, we held all our weapons to ourselves and against both sides of any military conflict, and it allowed the president to warn American citizens against traveling on ships of warring nations, because we wouldn't want the Lusitania to repeat itself. Too soon? Sorry. Of course, afterward, the U.S. enacted yet another Neutrality Act known as the Cash and Carry Policy, allowing warring nations to purchase and ship non-military goods from the United States, but only with cash, so we weren't selling weapons. Of course, the U.S. would enact yet another Neutrality Act of 1939, which literally allowed belligerent nations, or any hostile nation involved in war, to purchase arms under the same basis as the Cash and Carry Policy. Congress approved of the Burke-Wadsworth Act, which was the first peacetime military draft in history, because technically we were still neutral, right? While the United States was supposedly keeping neutral, the Japanese signed the Tripartite Pact, which formed an alliance with Germany and Italy, although in reality Germany and Italy didn't really like Japan. You know, kind of like in Mean Girls when Regina George is discriminating against the white chick from Africa. You get the point. It was like that. It was bad. Realizing that the growing threat from Germany and Japan, the U.S. proposed the Lend-Lease policy, which allowed the U.S. to not only sell, but to lend or lease armaments to any nation deemed pivotal to United States defense. So basically any nation, mostly the Allies, who looked like they were going to defend America and their neutrality, keep them strong, allow their economy to flourish, and they would lend them weapons.
Except for the Native Americans.
Yeah, well, except for the Native Americans, but Shiv, they weren't really a country, they lived within us. To protect trading interests, the United States warned Japan about seizing territory around Indochina and in that general region. But Japan failed to listen, and FDR froze all assets in the United States for Japan, which it limited Japan's needed resources for expansion. And let's just say that didn't sit too well with them. Let's go to the thought bubble.
In order to get revenge on America's Lend-Lease policy, the Japanese practiced and planned an attack on the U.S. Pacific Fleet. Starting at 8 a.m., Japanese carrier fighters and bombers flew overhead of Pearl Harbor, Hawaii, and raided onto the U.S. vessels and the bay. Around 8:10, an 1,800-pound bomb landed on the USS Arizona, sinking the ship with more than 1,000 men trapped inside. Afterwards, the battleship USS Oklahoma was torpedoed by K-Type 97 Nakajima B-5N2 torpedo bomber. the Oklahoma rolled over and sank about 400 sailors on board. By the end of the attack, the Japanese weakened or destroyed 18 American ships and nearly 300 airplanes, airfields, and docks. These battleships include the USS Arizona, Oklahoma, California, West Virginia, Utah, Maryland, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, and Nevada. Most importantly, though, almost 2,500 men were killed and another 1,000 were wounded. However, the Japanese did not cripple the Pacific Fleet. Either by sheer luck or bad timing, the Japanese failed to bomb the most important naval vessels, the American aircraft carriers. Even better, or worse for the Japanese, Pearl Harbor's onshore facilities such as oil reserves, repair shops, shipyards, and submarine docks were left intact. This stroke of luck for the US Navy allowed them to come back quickly and retaliate.
Thanks, Thought Bubble.
Even though the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor, it was not without consequence. Not only did it bring the attention of the President and Congress, it stirred the hearts of Americans everywhere. Oh, it's time for the mystery document?
Oh, it's time? Oh. Okay, so mystery document. Let me explain to you how this works. I read the mystery document. If I get it wrong, then I get sprayed with a garden hose. But if I get it right, then, well, nothing happens. So, let's see what we got here.
The successful prosecution of the war requires every possible protection against espionage and against sabotage to national defense material, national defense premises, and national defense utilities. I hereby authorize and direct the Secretary of War and the military commanders designate such action necessary or desirable to prescribe military areas in such places and of such extent as he or the appropriate military commander may determine. The right of any person to enter, remain in, or leave shall be subject to whatever restrictions imposed in his discretion.
Yeah, okay, I'll be honest. I've been struggling to maintain a C average in APUS since the beginning of the year, so I have no idea who this is. Just tell me and let's get this over with.
It was freaking FDR!
It was FDR? Well, what was the name of the document then?
Executive Order 9066.
Oh, yeah, okay. Let's just get the spraying over with then.
We'll be back shortly.
I got my job back. Let's show you what happens to Jacob when he does something wrong.
When he gets his executive order wrong.
Do this. Okay, so we're back. Anyways, Executive Order 9066. It was issued by FDR in order to ensure that Japanese Americans would not betray America and sabotage the military on the home front. Furthermore, FDR issued a repeal of the Neutrality Act of 1939, which caused American vessels to begin to arm themselves and secured an alliance with all of the other Allied countries. This was similar to the Tripartite Act, which established an alliance among the Axis powers and finally concluded our entrance into war. But was it a good idea? Guess we'll find out next time. See ya.
Alright guys, we really appreciate this opportunity to to allow us to do this project for AP US History. We had a lot of fun doing it, believe me. We have to give special thanks to Jacob for letting us use his house. And yeah, no, it was definitely a blast. I am Hernando and this is
Jacob.
Adrian.
Shiv.
And yeah, we'll see you next time. Or whenever we decide to do this again, if we ever do. Alright, let's go.
You want to pack it up?
We'll see. No, I won't be afraid. Oh, I won't be afraid. Just as long as you stand by me.